This is a patent I found almost a year ago. I found it in July 2020 and I couldn't believe what I was reading. It's called Human Robot New Species, and it's just that. It's a new version of a human being. The inventor claims to have invented them to help us in our everyday life, childcare, housework, things like that. I'm going to read you a bit from the patent now. It says the new human robot society will form the new race of personal and public service providers. They can be everywhere and anywhere to fulfill every task that a combination of human beings and robotic systems can accomplish if they are given autonomy, free movement, strength and know-how. These are sentient robots. But as we read on in the patent, we realise that actually they're a bit more than having a home help like we were led to believe at the beginning. These human robots can do anything we can do and better. They can do any job. They can be a teacher, a lawyer, a cleaner, a psychologist, psychiatrist, law enforcement. They don't even have to be humans. They can be an animal, a robot, a machine, a drone. They can even change shape, like Transformers. Do you remember that cartoon from the 80s, the Transformers? These things can do it. They can even be part of the government. Now just stop and think about the implications that has. These robot governments will not be representing us. They'll be implementing the sustainable goals. They will be representing the ideologies of the World Economic Forum. Things will be even worse than they are now. If you think this sounds a bit far-fetched, you're wrong, because in 2017 the EU created a document entitled Civil Law Rules on Robotics, and it's as close to robot rights as you can get. This was updated in 2019, but look at the 2017 version. Whereas from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein's monster to the classical myth of Pygmalion, through the story of Prague's Golem to the robot of Karel Capek, who coined the word, people have fantasized about the possibility of building intelligent machines, more often than not androids with human features. Now that humankind stands on the threshold of an era where even more sophisticated robots, bots, androids and other manifestations of artificial intelligence seem to be poised to unleash a new industrial revolution. Well, that's echoing the World Economic Forum, isn't it? If you read both the patent and the 2019 version of the EU directive, you'll see how closely linked they are, but not just by ideas but by language as well. It says that the robots can take over jobs that are too dangerous for humans, and that's in both documents. And then it says that they should speak all European languages in the European document and just all languages in the patent. In the EU, it says that they should exploit the latest technologies to generate growth in Europe, in particular in the areas of health technology, healthcare services and programs and drug discovery, which is also what it says in the patent. Found it interesting that in the 2019 EU document it talks about having virtual medical consultations. Now this was in the same year that the C word broke out, and they've definitely achieved that in just 18 months. There is one massive difference that I found between the EU directive and the patent, and that's the fact the EU said that the robots have an obvious lack of human empathy. Part of the attraction, the USP of the human robot new species is because it's like us. It has human feelings, it can have empathy, it can sympathise, it can do everything that we can do, but they don't mention that here. There is a need for a robust legal and ethical framework for artificial intelligence. So how many years do you think it's going to be until we get robot courts, robot lawyers? As the inventor of the human robot points out, this is going to cost a lot of money to create this world of human robots. In April 2021, so just a few months ago, the EU published their Coordinated Plan on Artificial Intelligence, the 2021 review. And within this, we're told how much they intend to invest in artificial intelligence from 2021 to 2027, and the figure they give is a minimum of €1 billion per year. Of course, it's not just the European Union. Just in September last year, the UK and the USA signed a Declaration of Artificial Intelligence, and in January this year the United States received a new law, and it's the National AI Initiative Act of 2020, and this act mandates a coordinated effort across the federal government to accelerate the research and adoption of artificial intelligence technologies. So with all this government money invested into artificial intelligence, you can bet your life that they will have their eye on something like this within the patent. It's the human robot law enforcement, a policeman. It says the standard police workforce will aim to disable the danger without using weapons by rapidly disarming the aggressors to avoid an imminent or potential threat. Ideally, the human robots are a peace workforce that acts only for the public protection and self-defense rather than for aggression and attacks. So it says ideally. There's no guarantee that they will be programmed to do this. If they copy the wrong person, they may go rogue, but they could be programmed to not be peaceful and to be aggressive. It says in a crime situation they will aim to neutralise the offenders, alert the authorities. So you imagine this in today's context with the marshals we have on the streets. If you refuse to stay 6 feet away from the person in front of you, will these human robots come up and try to neutralise you? Because that would be classed as an offence. Who knows? It says as a result they may be using or integrating safeguard tasers, which are mild electrical shocks from their fingers. This is something straight out of Hollywood. Laser weapons, or sending electromagnetic waves to disable a felon from a distance, or by simply aiming at their hands or into their weapons. They also have a surveillance human robot in the shape of a bee. Well, it could be in the shape of anything, it could be a flower, but the point is surveillance human robots. The patent says that if we allow it, the human robot will be digging in the most hidden, worst, complex, sophisticated and beautiful emotions of human beings by observing their behaviours and communicating with them on a regular basis, unless specifically requested not to. So in effect, we'll be training them up to do what we used to do. The EU's white paper that came out in April says that these are the areas that they want AI to forge ahead in. And it says bring AI into play for climate and environment. Now, I did a video on this, that the whole climate change thing is bunkum, because I looked at some figures and they were that on average every person in the world sends 4 emails a day. If each person were to send 3 emails a day, that would be the equivalent of saving 2.5 trips Gatwick to New York by plane. That's how much impact technology has on our environment, and yet they're pushing AI to try and save the planet when it just doesn't add up. Electric cars, I looked at those, they were marginally, hardly even noticeably better than regular petrol cars. It's what if they want us to save the planet, tell us not to send emails to our friends, tell us to put pen to paper, buy a stamp and put it in the post box. Don't send an email, because there's no carbon footprint writing a letter and putting it in the mail. It's ridiculous that they're pushing technology to do things that we don't even need it for. Use the next generation of AI to improve health. Well, that's a recurrent theme in the Human Robot New Species patent, and it's also in every one of the EU white papers that I've read regarding artificial intelligence. They want us not to see a doctor face to face, but to have a virtual consultation. This is absolutely disgusting. I've not had a physical cancer checkup since October 2019. I have no idea what my body's doing, because no one's had a look. They ring me up and say, how's it going? How do you think you are? I have no idea. I can't see inside my body. My cancer was in my womb. I've no idea what's going on in surrounding areas. It's absolutely disgusting. You can't even see a doctor And you can't in our surgery, they won't see you at all, unless you're having a vaccine, of course. So they want to do that. They want the virtual doctor. They want electronic health records for everybody. I'm waiting for the day when we're told that we have to have a smartphone or a smart device. I think that day is not too far off. The human robot relies on Wi-Fi or cellular connection, things like that. But you can't just get rid of the robot by turning off your box, your signal box thing, because it can still connect. It's got something in it that means it doesn't lose connection. They can keep their communications private or switch to be open to public at any time. So if they want to relay information to whoever is in charge of these robots or speak to another robot, they can switch to private so that you can't understand what's going on. To echo that, in the EU's AI white paper, it says that the availability of high quality and meaningful data is essential for real competitiveness in the AI industry, this bit, and calls for public authorities to ensure ways of producing, sharing and governing data by making public data a common good, while safeguarding privacy and sensitive data. Now, I know that my data is being shared without my permission. Even though I've opted out of that, I know for a fact that the NHS has informed my local council that I've refused the vaccine, because not only do I get bombarded with NHS letters to make an appointment, I get calls, letters, phone calls. I'm now getting letters from London Borough of Bromley, the council, to say you're very vulnerable, you're clinically vulnerable in the extreme or something, you should be vaccinated. Now, I never gave permission for my doctor to share with my council what I'm doing medical wise. The human robots are made of 3 separate layers. The first one is the spiritual layer, and this one includes the sanity, the minimum of the security settings, and the manufacturer's confidential settings such as the DNA, face, touch, serial number, etc. No one has access to this, including the manufacturer. So say someone who puts this together is not quite all there, or wants to cause a bit of havoc. It could be programmed to become a rogue robot and no one can do anything about it. I suppose you can smash them up, but then it would probably set its tasers on you. I've no idea what would happen in that scenario. The second layer is the subconscious layer. Only the human robot and the owner, to a certain extent, can exchange the subconscious layer of the human robot. The human robot human being will be able to access this subconscious layer only after setting the human robot in test debug mode. Such feature is available only to qualified developers from the HR manufacturer or trusted partners. The current layer is designed for the monitoring, test, debugging and verification of the HR's well-being, etc., etc. The application layer can be programmed and configured to fulfill a few basic tasks. It's usually programmed by the manufacturer developer team. The learning layer, it can learn from most tasks to upgrade its basic functionality independently of the developer programmed application. The human robot will learn from its environment, even if it has not been explicitly programmed to do so. So this is really this is like us, the sharing layer. If allowed by its owner, it can share what it learned with the manufacturer or partner developer teams. So what that means is it feeds back information to the manufacturer or partner developer teams. The conscious layer. This is the customization layer that the developers can use to design their own human robot. Developers can customize the standard human robot platform to their needs. For instance, to improve its behavior, teach an HR a particular job, or prepare it for a particular task. This layer can accommodate infinite number of tasks and applications, and it's mainly distributed into 2 layers. the application layer, which can be programmed to. Robots don't have any religion, but a human being could order, for example, a Christian human being could order a Protestant robot. But throughout the years, the robot might adapt and decide to become a Catholic. Only the robot can decide that change of religion, not another robot. I don't think any governments will have anything to do with religion because, in my opinion, I think they're trying to phase it out because they want this equal society, this utopia, this cultural balance, so religion has no place in their future. I'm going to stop here for today because it's 15 minutes is enough. I just wanted to bring to your attention that that patent, the human robot new species, does exist, and it ties in perfectly with wherever you are in the world. Your government will have an AI program, and I'm sure there will be bits in that patent that you can fit in to the plan that you read in your country's white paper. It's both interesting and terrifying. I don't like technology at all. If you love technology, you will be thinking that I'm talking out of my backside, but I don't like technology. I'm 50. I grew up with a manual typewriter. It's just not my thing. I use it if I have to. But the thought of human robots walking amongst us and conversing with us in the high street is absolutely terrifying to me. Thank you for watching.